if you can't handle this, maybe the Cavs just aren't the team for you. This is Jason Lloyd yesterday on Afternoon Drive. I want you guys to hear this clip.
Donovan's under control for 2 more years. His next contract starts at $65 million. I think the Cavs have to think very long and very hard if you want to invest $65 million a year into Donovan Mitchell, given some of the calf problems he's had, lower leg problems that he's had. Yeah, like I keep writing, they're going to have to make hard decisions. Their window is the next 2 years, and then they're going to have to make hard decisions. And I'm trying to leave it there because I don't want to, it's just not worth sounding alarms on anything. But, I mean, do you want to pay Donovan Mitchell $65 million? No. So that's a conversation for later. We don't need to worry about that now. He's here for 2 years, and they've got a really good team. They're a championship contender, and I say focus on that for right now. But, yeah, they're going to have some really hard decisions that they're going to have to make in the coming years.
That's Jason Lloyd, who always sounds like when he's telling you like things that he doesn't think you're going to take well, he always sounds like an exasperated mechanic about to be like, listen, you got like 1,000 more miles left on this motor. You really got to go trade it in. I don't know what else to do about this thing. You got blown head. He's just always like that. But I'm a little bit surprised that he is like no with Donovan Mitchell about the future.
And he was sure to say, look, I'm not trying to be alarming.
That was alarming though.
But he's saying, the Cavs are in a good spot. They've got good players and they're young enough where it's not like this thing just all falls apart if the core gets changed dramatically or even just a little bit. Now, he said $65 million. I mean, I have a piece from Terry Pluto that says he's eligible for 5 years, $380, which would mean $76 million a year.
Well,
now that's a big discrepancy. So I'm going to have to reach out to the cap gurus in town. But either way, if we're in the neighborhood of 65, 70, 75 million, that would be the next contract for Donovan Mitchell because he's all NBA, because he's been in the league for a decade. That's why he'd be eligible for basically the most amount of money you could possibly get under the CBA. And it is tough. You're learning how difficult this is in this new capped situation that is the double apron, that it does really act like a hard cap because you have no other remedies to try to, improve your basketball.
Well, I'm not ripping on Nick here because I think Jason seems to agree with him. But he said, he's not very comfortable with Donovan at $65 million plus after these next 2 years. And my thought was, well, I'm sorry, but I think by that time, it'll kind of be the going rate. I mean, if we're paying Devin Booker, no, we're not paying anybody, but if the NBA is paying, if the Suns are paying Devin Booker $70+ million over the next 2 years, and Devin Booker's a fine player, but they've been to the finals once. I don't think that he's getting them back. It reeks of desperation, but I think there's some other teams that might be doing that same sort of thing as well. But I think that, when we have the wide eye emojis over big money, I think that's just the price of doing business, Tone. The NBA has done well with their television contracts, and I'm not as blown away by this money as some other people. Now, I know that it's not just about your senses as a fan. It's also about your second apron and about your cap. But the way that Jason describes it, and I'm not even thinking that he's silly for this, but like at this juncture, at 29, I think we need to understand that he's still the future. He and Evan are the future still. It's not Darius and Evan. It's Donovan and Evan. Right now, dollars to donuts, fan to fan, you're taking Donovan Mitchell. And I think you're even taking Donovan Mitchell in 2 years over Darius Garland.
Well, so I would make the argument this is a really tough thing to try to parse. And here's why I say that. Like Donovan, I've wondered how his game will age, right? As he loses more and more burst and explosiveness over the years, he's probably just going to be more of a three-point shooter. And he's already taken a ton of threes in the playoffs. He does get to the free throw line in the playoffs. Like last year, it was absurd how many free throws he got. But how long is he going to be able to do that? You've seen him be pretty winded by the second round of the playoffs. That's only halfway. Then I look at Darius. And Darius is somebody who there's just no proof of concept come playoff time that he is anything close to a the best player on a contending team, second best player on a contending team. I don't know, is he even the third best on a contending team? And he's making a lot of money. Now, wouldn't be $70 million.
I think he's the third best player on a contending team. Okay. If you're ranking him, it's Donovan. I think it's Evan already. I think it's Darius and Jarrett.
but he's going to be in line for 50 plus million a year.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you more comfortable with? Donovan Mitchell at 70 million, in 2 years, Darius at 50, where you'd be then asking Darius to fill that void created by Donovan being gone. So now Darius, who hasn't even been as the second best player or third best player on a contending team, has fallen woefully short.
Yeah, but
now you're asking him to definitely be the second best player and on some nights be the best player.
Do you have more faith?
Are you comfortable with that at 50 million?
Do you have more faith?
I haven't seen any evidence of that.
I think that's the thing that people should be talking about. It's not just Donovan's Donovan, and Donovan will be 31, and I think that there's legitimate concern there with what you're saying. Totally agree.
Like at least Donovan, I know there are games and series where he looks like a top 5 player in the NBA.
Ask yourself a question.
I haven't seen Darius look like a top 20 player in the NBA in the playoffs.
Ask yourself a question. Do you believe that you have more faith in Donovan now? Of course you do. Do you have more faith in Donovan in 2 years? Do you believe you're going to have more faith in Donovan in 2 years? And the answer is still yes. The answer is still yes, because one is still 6'4" and bigger and stronger. The other one is 6'2", and let's, again, just be honest with each other. He's diminutive. He gets hurt all the time.
He plays smaller.
And he plays smaller in the postseason.
Yeah.
So you need, if you're going to be making sense of this and talking about the future of the team, see, this is why who continues to cast a shadow over this franchise. That's why who, anytime that there's a conversation, you have to have it. Because Evan needs to step up. We know that. Evan needs to step up less with Donovan Mitchell, even at 31 years old. For Evan Mobley, with Darius Garland, it's almost, I have to ask him to become Superman with Darius Garland. Do I not? Do I have to ask him to become Giannis with Darius Garland? I think I do. Where with Donovan Mitchell, it's like, hey, you definitely need to be an all-star, 100%. But I don't think I need him to be Giannis or one of the other guys that we speak of so highly. I want him to be that guy, but I don't know if I need him to be if he's playing alongside of Donovan instead of Darius. So the bet is still, even, yes, 31 is you open your eyes and kind of stare around and go, oh my gosh, he's getting a little bit older here. And he's not the 6'8", 260 fella that we talk about all the time either. So 31, those are some hard miles on him compared to some others. But it still doesn't change the idea of who you trust. And that's coming from me, a Darius Garland defender here for so many years.
Yeah, and I want to be fair to the Cavs. Like, we've been having the same discussion now. We're entering year 4 of wondering if the 2 small guards in the backcourt can win.
Yeah, but you had to do what you had to do.
And in the regular season, boy, do they win. They kick ass. They dominate. They look like an all-time great offense most of the time. That works. I mean, that works, and they should dominate again if they're healthy, even limiting Donovan Mitchell's minutes last year and limiting, just the workload.
Yeah.
It worked. And then in the playoffs, it looked the exact same. It literally looked the exact same. It turned into, all right, I'll save us. I'll put the entire team on my back, but I'll be on fumes by the second round. So that's a tough decision because the Cavs are probably looking at it going, eventually they'll break through in the playoffs, but will it? That's a tough thing to wonder.
So then answer the question, who's the future of the Cavs?
Well,
it's not, you can't.
Of course, it's Evan.
You can use a cheat code and say who, but that ain't it. It's Evan. So Evan's in there. You need another guy who's going to be the future of the Cavs because you've said it. You got to move off probably 2 of these other contracts.
They can't pay all 3.
Because you can't pay all 3, especially with the escalators going in, because you'll end up paying, it seems like $1 billion for a roster coming up in 2 years, and you just can't do that. So if one's part of the future, lock, stock, and barrel Evan Mobley is, unless somebody's willing to offer you something that's stupid that they're probably not going to do. I know that people have talked about Giannis. We'll see. I just don't think that they're going to do that, especially with some of the things that they've done. Okay, so if Evan's that guy, is it Donovan at 31 with him, or is it Darius at, how old's Darius now, 25, 27 with Evan Mobley? Because it ain't Jarrett. It ain't Jarrett. We know that. So sorry, he's great, but he's going to have to be moved on from here in the next couple of years. And then you have Evan Mobley, who's in. Which one do you choose? Which guy do you choose? I don't have an argument for Darius.
It's just we haven't seen it. Now you'd be handing over the reins to Darius, and
so you just put a lot more pressure on Darius. The Cavs have to put a lot more pressure on Darius this coming year, coming off the injury.
Like there have definitely been games like Donovan missed a game. I think was it against the Knicks this year at Madison Square Garden, and Darius looked every bit of a superstar
in the regular season. In the regular season. So that's going to be in the back of everybody's mind. Darius has looked, there have been times where I've come in here in the morning and been clapping about Darius Garland and like, okay, he's going to turn the corner here. But it's going to have to be proven in crunch time. And the NBA Cup ain't going to do it. And the regular season games that we make a big deal about, but really ultimately don't matter, ain't going to do it. He's going to have to be able to play within the offense. I don't need him to even do ISO ball because I told you, I want the offense to run through Evan without Darius on the floor. And then he's got to be able to pick up and choose his spots to where he is and then hit those shots. He cannot play small in the opening round of the NBA playoffs, or we're going to be having the same conversation. And you're going to feel sick because then you do have to rely on a 31-year-old Donovan Mitchell. And then you do, because you've made such an investment, you have to pay him $65 million plus a year. You may be forced by Darius Garland to do that with Donovan Mitchell.
Well, and then I do wonder, this might complicate things. I know we got to go, but I heard Nick and Jonathan talking about, well, at least Donovan, you're going to be able to trade him and recoup all the assets. And that I wonder about. Like 2 years from now, what is Donovan Mitchell's, or a year from now, what is Donovan Mitchell's trade value as somebody who will be due for $70 million?
Getting 3 first-round picks.
I don't think you're getting nearly as much as what you had to trade to get him, especially because at that time, there will be even if you're trading him in 2 years, that means the Cavs didn't win the championship, right?
Yeah.
So how far did they go? And who's trading for a $70 million player who hasn't been able to get past the second round?
Well, is that because of him or is that because of the league?